Do you know English grammar? Do you know many English words? But still, when it's time to speak, you feel stuck? You pause, you hesitate, and you can't find the right words. If this sounds like you, don't worry. You're not alone. Many learners know the rules but still struggle to speak fluently. So what's missing? Let's talk about fluency. Fluency is not about being perfect. It's not about using big or difficult words. Fluency means speaking smoothly, without long pauses, without hesitation, and with confidence. It's the ability to keep going when you speak, like water flowing in a river. But here's something important. Fluency has two sides. The first side is physical. That's your mouth. Your tongue, your lips, your voice. They all need to move fast and smoothly to produce English sounds. If your mouth is not used to saying English words, your speech will feel slow and uncomfortable. The second side is mental. That's your brain. You need to think in English. You need to find words quickly. You need to build sentences without translating from your native language. If your brain is slow, your mouth will stop. So, here's the secret. To speak fluently, you must train both your mouth and your brain. You need focused, daily practice to improve both the physical and mental sides of fluency. In this video from Read and Learn English, I'll show you 5 simple and powerful steps to help you improve your fluency so you can speak English clearly, naturally, and with confidence. Let's begin. If you want to speak English fluently, the most important rule is simple. You must speak English with real people, not just in your head, not just by watching videos or listening to podcasts, and not just by reading textbooks. You need to actually open your mouth and use the language. Speaking is not something you learn by watching others do it. It's something you must experience yourself. You can know all the grammar rules and memorize thousands of English words, but if you don't practice speaking regularly, those words and rules will stay locked inside your mind. Fluency means being able to speak naturally, quickly, and clearly. And the only way to reach that level is through practice. Real, spoken, face-to-face practice. Think about how people learn other skills. For example, imagine trying to learn how to swim by only reading a book. Would that work? Of course not. You have to jump in the water, feel it, move your body, and try again and again until you learn. The same is true for playing a guitar. Watching music lessons or reading about chords is helpful, but until you pick up the guitar and practice every day, you won't improve. Speaking English is the same. It's not just about knowing something, it's about doing it. It's about using your mouth, your voice, and your brain at the same time, again and again, until it feels natural. Fluency is a physical and mental skill. Physically, your mouth must move smoothly. You need to pronounce words clearly and connect them naturally. This takes training, like exercising your muscles. Mentally, your brain must quickly find the right words and put them in the correct order. You need to stop translating from your native language and start thinking directly in English. This also takes practice, just like building a new habit. Many learners don't speak enough because they feel shy or afraid. They are worried about making mistakes, having an accent, or being judged. But here is the truth. Nobody becomes fluent without making mistakes. Mistakes are not the enemy. They are your teachers. Every mistake you make while speaking helps you improve. So don't let fear stop you. The more you speak, the more confidence you will gain. The more you speak, the fewer mistakes you will make. And the more you speak, the faster your fluency will grow. To build this skill, I recommend you aim for at least 2 to 3 hours of English speaking every week. This may sound like a lot, but it's actually very doable. You can break it into smaller parts. For example, speak for 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, or 1 hour every other day. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. Even a small amount of practice, if done regularly, can make a big difference over time. The key is to make speaking a normal part of your week. There are many ways to find speaking practice. One way is to join an English class or conversation group. This could be in your city or online. Many language schools, community centers, and websites offer free or low-cost conversation groups. You will meet people who are just like you, learners who want to improve. Together, you can learn, practice, and grow. Another way is to talk to native speakers or foreigners. If you live in a city where tourists visit, try starting a simple conversation. Ask them where they are from, if they need help, or just say hello. Most people will be kind and happy to talk. If you don't have access to foreigners in real life, go online. Use apps like HelloTalk, Tandem, or Speaky to find a language partner. You can talk through text, voice messages, or even video calls. Many native English speakers want to learn other languages, so they are happy to do a language exchange. You can also find a speaking partner in your own community, maybe a friend, a co-worker, or someone from an English class. Meet once or twice a week and just talk in English. Don't worry about grammar or vocabulary. Just try to express yourself. You can talk about your hobbies, your family, your job, or anything you enjoy. The goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to keep speaking. You can also join groups or activities where English is used. For example, a book club, a travel group, a volunteer program, or even an online game where people speak English. These activities make speaking fun and natural, not stressful. It's not just about formal lessons in a classroom. Any activity where you must speak English helps build fluency. And here's another idea that many people forget. You can speak English to yourself. Yes, really. Talk to yourself while walking, cooking, or getting ready for work. Describe what you are doing. I'm brushing my teeth. I'm making breakfast. I'm going to the store. You can also talk about your plans. Today, I will study for 1 hour. After that, I'll go to the gym. This kind of speaking helps your brain get used to thinking in English. You can even record yourself speaking and listen later to hear your progress. The more you speak, the more comfortable you will become. I once had a student named Maria. She was from Brazil and had studied English for 5 years. She knew all the grammar rules and had a large vocabulary, but she couldn't speak fluently. She was afraid to speak because she thought people would laugh at her accent or correct her mistakes. One day, she joined a language exchange group in her city. She was nervous, but she pushed herself to speak. At first, she made many mistakes, but the other learners were kind and helpful. Week by week, Maria became more confident. After 3 months, she could speak without stopping. Her fluency improved, not because she studied more, but because she spoke more. This is the magic of practice. Speaking changes everything. It turns passive knowledge into active skill. You don't need to move to an English-speaking country. You don't need to wait until you are ready. You just need to start. Start with small steps, one conversation, one sentence, one word. Speak to a partner. Speak in a group. Speak to yourself. But whatever you do, just speak. The more you speak, the more fluent you become. So remember, rule number 1 is clear. Get out there and speak English. Not someday, not later, not when you feel perfect. Start now. Speak today. Speak tomorrow. Speak again and again. Fluency is not a gift, it's a habit. And every time you speak, you are building that habit stronger. Learning to speak English fluently isn't just about words and grammar, it's also about dealing with pressure. Many English learners know what they want to say, but when it's time to speak, they freeze. Their minds go blank. Their hearts beat fast. Words don't come out the way they want. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. This is one of the most common challenges English learners faces. You might feel nervous, shy, or even scared when you speak English with other people. You might worry that others will laugh at you, or that you'll make a mistake and embarrass yourself. But here's the truth. That pressure you feel is completely normal. Everyone feels it when they speak a foreign language. It doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean you're not smart. It just means you're human. Speaking a second language is a brave act, and it's okay to feel uncomfortable at first. Think about it like this. Learning to speak under pressure is like learning to walk across a narrow bridge. At first, your legs shake. You don't trust yourself. You look down and panic. But the more you cross that bridge, the more confident you become. You still feel nervous sometimes, but now you know how to handle it. It becomes part of the experience. Pressure doesn't go away completely, but it becomes easier to live with. That's what happens when you speak English regularly. The fear doesn't disappear overnight, but you learn to manage it. You stop fighting it. You accept it, and you keep speaking anyway. That's how you grow. When I first started learning French, I remember feeling the same fear. I had studied for years and understood the grammar. I could read books and watch French movies. But when I tried to speak to a native speaker, I got stuck. My voice was quiet. I searched for the right words, but couldn't find them fast enough. My face turned red. I felt embarrassed. But I realized something important. This pressure was part of the process. I couldn't avoid it, but I could get used to it. So I kept speaking, even when it felt difficult. I made mistakes, and people corrected me. Sometimes I laughed at myself, and slowly, the fear lost its power. I still felt it now and then, but it didn't stop me anymore. If you're learning English, the same is true for you. The pressure might be strong today, but it won't always be that way. The more you speak, the more control you'll gain. One reason people struggle with speaking under pressure is that they don't practice enough in real situations. Reading and listening are safe. You don't have to respond. You can pause, rewind, and take your time. But speaking is live. It's fast. It's emotional. That's why it feels harder. But just like building a muscle, the only way to get stronger is by doing the hard work. If you avoid speaking because it feels uncomfortable, you're actually training yourself to fear it more. But if you speak anyway, even with the fear, you're building a new habit. You're telling your brain, yes, this is scary, but I can handle it. That's how fluency is built. It's also helpful to realize that most people don't care if you make mistakes. In fact, they admire your effort. Imagine meeting someone who is trying to speak your language. You wouldn't laugh at them. You'd probably smile and try to help. The same is true for you. When you speak English, most people are not judging you. They're supporting you. They know it's not easy, and they respect your courage. So, try to speak with pride. You are doing something many people never try. You are challenging yourself. That's something to be proud of. Pressure also teaches you to think faster. When your heart is beating and your mind is racing, your brain starts to work harder. You learn to find words more quickly. You stop overthinking. You learn to focus on communication, not perfection. That's a powerful skill. You don't need to speak perfectly. You just need to speak clearly enough to be understood. And the only way to develop that skill is by putting yourself in situations where you feel that pressure. Don't run from it. Embrace it. You can start small. Try speaking English in short conversations with people you trust. Maybe with a friend, a classmate, or a tutor. Choose topics you know well. Don't worry about being perfect. Just focus on speaking without stopping. Over time, increase the challenge. Join a conversation group. Talk to strangers. Give a short presentation. Record yourself speaking and share it with others. Each time you push your limits, you grow a little more. The key is to stay consistent. The more often you face the pressure, the less power it has over you. I once had a student who avoided speaking in class. She was very smart and had excellent writing skills, but she was afraid to speak in front of others. One day, I asked her to try a small speaking activity. Just a few words. She was nervous, but she said yes. Over time, we built on that small moment. She started speaking in pairs, then in groups, then in front of the class. A few months later, she gave a speech at an English event. Her voice was calm, and her message was strong. She still felt pressure, but she knew she could manage it. That's what I want for you. So remember this: the pressure you feel is not your enemy. It's your teacher. It's helping you grow. You don't have to wait until the fear goes away. You just have to start. Speak even when your heart is racing. Speak even when your voice shakes. Speak even when your words don't come out right. That's how fluency is built. Not by waiting, not by hiding, but by facing the pressure again and again until it becomes familiar, until it becomes your strength. You are capable of more than you think. Every time you speak under pressure, you prove to yourself that you're getting stronger. So don't be afraid. Speak. Practice. Repeat. Let pressure become your guide, not your limit. And one day, you'll realize that what once felt impossible is now something you do with ease. One of the most powerful and simple ways to improve your English fluency is through a method called speed reading aloud. This technique targets the physical side of fluency, which means helping your mouth and tongue get used to speaking English quickly, clearly, and smoothly. Most English learners don't think about this side of speaking. They focus a lot on vocabulary and grammar, which are important, but they often forget that speaking is also a physical activity. Your mouth is like a muscle. It needs regular training. Just like a musician practices scales or an athlete trains with drills, your speaking muscles need exercises too. That's where speed reading comes in. The method is easy to understand but very powerful when done regularly. First, you need to find an easy English text. This can be a short story, a blog post, a newspaper article, or even a paragraph from your English textbook. The key is to choose something that is not too difficult, something you can understand easily without stopping to look up every word. The goal is not to study the meaning in this exercise. The goal is to train your mouth to move quickly and confidently. When the text is simple, you can focus more on your speed and flow, rather than thinking too much about vocabulary. Now that you have your text, it's time for step 1. Read it aloud, just once, at your natural speed. Don't try to rush. Just read the text out loud and use a timer to measure how long it takes. Maybe it's 1 minute or 2 minutes. It doesn't matter. The time is just a reference point. What matters is that you read it all the way through using your normal voice and tone. This first reading is your baseline. Now comes step 2. Take a short break, then read the same text again. But this time, try to beat your previous time. Try to read it a little faster, but not so fast that you lose control. It should still sound natural and clear. You're not just trying to speak fast. You're trying to speak smoothly and continuously. This pushes your mouth to work harder. It makes you aware of how your tongue moves, how your lips shape each word, and how your breath supports your voice. You might trip over some words or feel your mouth getting tired. That's okay. That's part of the training. The more you do this, the better your speaking muscles will get. You'll notice that words come out faster and smoother. You'll stop hesitating before long sentences. You'll stop getting stuck on hard sounds. That's because you're giving your mouth the muscle memory it needs to speak English without slowing down. Just like a dancer repeats the same move until it becomes natural, you are teaching your mouth how to speak English smoothly through repetition and speed. Let's say you practice this exercise for 10 minutes a day. That's enough to make a difference. In a few weeks, you'll notice your tongue moving faster, your pronunciation becoming clearer, and your confidence going up. You'll be able to speak long sentences without pausing. You'll feel more in control. And when it's time to speak to someone in real life, your brain won't need to work as hard because your mouth is already trained to move. This makes fluency feel more natural. What makes speed reading such a great tool is that it's flexible. You can do it anytime, anywhere. You don't need a teacher or a partner. You don't need special equipment. All you need is a short text and a timer. Your phone works perfectly. You can do it in the morning before work, during your lunch break, or at night before bed. You can start with just 5 minutes and increase the time as you get better. You can do it with different texts each day or repeat the same passage for a whole week. The key is to make it a habit. The more often you do it, the more fluent you will become. It's also fun to challenge yourself. Try to beat your time by a few seconds each day. Try different types of texts, some funny, some serious, some conversational. Try reading dialogues with emotion and energy. This keeps your practice interesting and keeps you motivated. You're not just training your mouth, you're also training your ear, your rhythm, and your breathing. All of this builds a strong foundation for fluency. Some learners worry that speed reading might make them speak too fast or lose clarity, but that's not true if you do it correctly. The goal is not to rush. The goal is to find a smooth, natural pace and gradually increase it without losing control. Think of it like running. You start by jogging and then slowly build up your speed. You're not sprinting. You're building endurance and control. That's exactly what this exercise does for your speaking. Imagine this. 1 month from now, you've practiced speed reading every day. You've read dozens of passages. Your pronunciation is clearer. Your words come out faster. You don't hesitate as much. When someone asks you a question in English, you're able to answer confidently and without delay. You feel proud of yourself. You've trained your mouth to move like a native speaker's. That's the power of daily practice. That's the power of speed reading. You might feel silly at first reading out loud to yourself, but remember, no one else is watching. This is your private training. It's your secret weapon. Many successful language learners use this technique. It helps them build fluency faster and with more confidence. If you stick with it, you'll see amazing results. You'll go from thinking in your head to speaking with your voice. You'll move from slow, hesitant speech to natural, smooth sentences. So, if you want to speak English fluently, don't just think. Don't just read silently. Start speaking. Start reading aloud. Start moving your mouth, using your voice, building your fluency. Start with a short passage today. Time yourself. Read it again. Beat your time. Train your mouth like an athlete trains their body. Make it strong. Make it fast. Make it natural. This is your journey, and every word you speak brings you closer to the confident, fluent English speaker you are becoming. One of the most enjoyable and powerful ways to improve your English fluency is by using songs. This method focuses on the physical side of fluency, helping you train your mouth, tongue, and breathing to produce English sounds smoothly and quickly. When you sing in English, you're not just enjoying music, you're practicing how to speak fluently without even realizing it. Many people think language learning has to be serious all the time, with textbooks and grammar rules, but it doesn't have to be boring. In fact, when you learn through music, you make fluency fun, natural, and emotional. You connect with the language on a deeper level, and that makes your practice more powerful and more memorable. The method is very simple. First, choose an English song that you enjoy. It could be a soft ballad, a pop song, a rock song, or even a children's song. The most important thing is that you like the song and that the singer's voice is clear. When you enjoy what you're listening to, you're more motivated to repeat it, and that repetition is what helps you improve. Next, find the lyrics online. Almost every English song has its lyrics available for free. Just search the title of the song and add the word lyrics, and you'll find them easily. Now comes the fun part. Play the song and sing along while reading the lyrics. At first, you might struggle to keep up with the rhythm. Some parts may feel too fast. Some words might be hard to pronounce, but that's okay. Don't stop. Keep going. Repeat the song again and again. Each time you sing along, you're training your mouth to move in a more fluent, natural way. Singing forces you to match the speed of the song, and that's the key. When you sing, you can't pause to think about grammar. You can't stop to look up a word. You have to keep going, and that's exactly what you need to build fluency. This is why using songs is such a powerful method. It builds rhythm, speed, and muscle memory. Your mouth learns how to pronounce words faster. Your tongue starts to glide more smoothly from one word to the next. Your breath becomes more controlled, and your ears become more tuned to the sounds of English. You start to hear the natural stress and intonation patterns of native speakers. You start to feel the music of the language, and this is something that no textbook can teach you. At the beginning, it's best to start with slower songs. Choose songs with clear, easy-to-understand lyrics and a relaxed tempo. Singers like Ed Sheeran, Adele, or classic bands like the Beatles often have songs that are great for beginners. Once you feel comfortable with these, you can gradually move to faster, more challenging songs. Try rap, fast pop, or rock. These styles will push your fluency even more. They force you to stretch your limits, and that's where real growth happens. Let's look at an example. Imagine you choose the song Perfect by Ed Sheeran. You listen to it, read the lyrics, and sing along. At first, you might mumble through some lines, but by the fifth or sixth time, you start to sing more confidently. You notice your pronunciation getting better. You start to understand the meaning of each line. You even start to feel the emotion behind the words. And most importantly, you're speaking English without fear or hesitation. You're using your voice, your breath, your entire body to communicate in English, and that's fluency. This kind of practice doesn't just improve your speaking, it also builds your confidence. Many English learners feel shy or nervous when they have to speak in front of others. Singing helps break that fear. It helps you get used to using your voice in English. And because songs are fun and emotional, they help you feel connected to the language. You stop worrying about mistakes. You stop thinking too much. You just sing. And in that moment, you're free. You're learning and enjoying at the same time. You don't need to sing perfectly. This is not a music contest. You're not trying to become a professional singer. You're trying to become a fluent speaker. So don't worry if your voice isn't perfect. What matters is that you're using English actively. You're moving your mouth. You're matching the pace. You're training your brain and body to work together. That's fluency. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes. The great thing about this method is that it's easy to fit into your day. You can sing in the shower. You can sing while walking. You can sing along during your commute. You can even turn it into a daily routine. Choose one song each week and make it your fluency song. Practice it every day. By the end of the week, you'll know the lyrics by heart. You'll be able to sing it with speed and emotion. And you'll notice your English getting smoother, more natural, and more confident. If you want to take it one step further, try recording yourself singing. Listen to the recording and notice where you struggle. Then sing the song again and focus on improving those parts. Over time, you'll be amazed at how much your pronunciation and rhythm improve. You'll also have fun memories of your learning journey. Many successful language learners around the world use music as a core part of their routine. It's not just for beginners. Even advanced speakers continue to learn new expressions, slang, and pronunciation from songs. So don't underestimate the power of music. It's not just entertainment, it's education, it's motivation, it's fluency practice in disguise. So today, go choose an English song that speaks to your heart. Find the lyrics, play the music, and start singing. Do it again tomorrow. And the next day, Make it a habit. Make it your fluency training. Feel the music, feel the words, and let your voice become your guide. Through songs, you will discover a more joyful and natural path to speaking English fluently. If you truly want to become fluent in English, you have to understand how your brain learns language. One of the biggest mistakes English learners make is trying to memorize individual words with their translations. They study long vocabulary lists, repeating each word with its meaning in their native language. At first, this method seems helpful. It feels like progress. You're learning new words, right? But in reality, this way of learning is slow, unnatural, and ineffective when it comes to fluency. Why? Because in real conversations, your brain doesn't have time to translate every word. You need to respond quickly, smoothly, and with confidence. And this is where most learners struggle. They know many words, but when it's time to speak, they pause, they hesitate, and they feel stuck. It's not because they don't know the words, it's because they're trying to translate instead of communicate. To overcome this problem, you need to start learning language in chunks, not words. A chunk is a phrase, an expression, or a full sentence that you learn and remember as a whole. Think about how native speakers speak. They don't build sentences one word at a time. They use ready-made phrases that come naturally and automatically. If you want to sound fluent, you need to do the same. You need to train your brain to think in phrases, not in single words. This is the mental side of fluency, the ability to build sentences quickly, without translating. And chunks are the secret to making that happen. Let's look at a simple example. Instead of learning the words I, am, going, to, see, some, old, and friends separately, learn the full phrase, I'm going to see some old friends. Learn it as one unit. Say it out loud. Feel the rhythm. Notice how the words connect. Then change it slightly. I'm going to see a movie tonight. Or, I'm going to see my doctor tomorrow. This way, your brain gets used to patterns, not just words. And when it's time to speak, the full sentence comes out naturally. You don't need to think about each part. It just flows. That's fluency. You can practice this method every day with just a few simple steps. Start with a basic sentence like, I went for a walk yesterday. Repeat it a few times. Get comfortable with it. Then, change one part. I went to the beach yesterday. I took an exam yesterday. I met a friend yesterday. You're keeping the structure, but changing small pieces. This is called sentence substitution, and it's one of the most powerful ways to train fluency. It helps your brain recognize and use patterns quickly. Over time, you build a library of useful chunks in your head. And when you need to speak, your brain pulls out the full phrase, not just words. This technique also helps you learn grammar naturally. You don't need to memorize long grammar rules. When you learn phrases like, I've been working all day, or she's not feeling well, you're learning grammar in context. You're hearing how real English is used. And you're training your brain to produce it correctly without having to stop and think about verb tenses or sentence structure. You become fluent not by learning grammar rules, but by using them in real phrases that you can recall and reuse automatically. Many language learners make the mistake of thinking they must understand everything before they use it. But fluency doesn't work that way. You don't have to understand every grammar point perfectly to speak well. You just need to practice the right things in the right way. Learning in chunks helps you build confidence. When you know full phrases, you're more likely to speak. You don't feel lost. You don't freeze. You have something to say, and you know how to say it. That's a big step toward becoming fluent. Let's imagine another example. Say you learn the phrase, "Would you like something to drink?" You can use this in many situations. Then try changing it. "Would you like to go out for dinner?" Or, "Would you like some help with that?" You're keeping the structure and changing the details. Over time, you get comfortable with this question format. And when you're in a real conversation, you won't hesitate. You'll just say it naturally. No thinking, no translating, just fluent speech. This method works not just for speaking, but also for listening. When you listen to English and recognize phrases you've practiced, you'll understand more. You won't need to translate. Your brain will process the meaning directly, because it already knows the chunk. This makes conversations faster, smoother, and more enjoyable. Think about how children learn language. They don't start with vocabulary lists. They listen. They repeat. They copy phrases. They say, "I don't know. I want that. Let's go," without even knowing the grammar. They just learn it through use. You can do the same. You're not too old. Your brain is still capable of learning patterns and using them fluently. The only thing you need is the right method and consistent practice. To make this a part of your daily routine, you can use TV shows, podcasts, YouTube videos, or English books. Look for sentences that sound useful and natural. Write them down, repeat them, use them in your own speaking. Make small changes to practice substitution. Over time, your brain will start to remember these chunks and offer them to you automatically in conversation. The key is to be active, not passive. Don't just read or listen. Speak the chunks out loud. Use them in context. Say them to yourself. Use them when talking to others. Build your fluency one phrase at a time. Don't wait until you feel ready. The more you use the language, the more fluent you become. You don't need thousands of words. You just need a few hundred useful chunks that you can say easily and confidently. In the end, fluency is not about perfection. It's not about knowing every grammar rule or every word in the dictionary. It's about communication. It's about being able to express yourself clearly and confidently. And learning language in chunks is the fastest and most natural way to get there. So, start today. Choose a few useful phrases. Practice them. Say them out loud. Use them in real conversations. Little by little, you'll build the mental speed and confidence you need to speak English fluently. Let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned today. Becoming fluent in English is not a dream reserved for the talented few. It's a journey that anyone can take, and it begins with the right steps and consistent effort. We started by understanding what fluency really means. It's not just about knowing grammar rules or memorizing vocabulary. Fluency is about speaking smoothly, confidently, and without hesitation. It's both a physical skill, training your mouth to say English sounds and words easily, and a mental skill, training your brain to find the right words quickly and build sentences without delay. And to improve fluency, you must strengthen both sides through real, practical, and meaningful practice. The first and most powerful step was to get out there and speak English regularly. You don't become fluent by only reading or watching. You must speak. Speaking is like any other skill, such as playing a musical instrument or a sport. You need practice, not just once a month, but every week, every day if possible. We encouraged you to aim for at least 2 to 3 hours of real conversation practice each week, whether it's in an English class, a language exchange, or just talking with a friend. Fluency grows when you use the language, not just study it. Then, we tackled one of the biggest fears of language learners: pressure. We talked about how normal it is to feel shy, nervous, or even embarrassed when speaking a foreign language. Many people believe that the fear will go away before they start speaking. But in truth, the pressure never fully disappears. It's something you must get used to. You learn to speak despite the fear, not after it. Like any challenging experience, the more you face it, the easier it becomes. Each time you speak, even if you make mistakes, you build confidence and strength. The goal is not perfection, it's progress. Next, we focused on improving the physical side of fluency through 2 powerful techniques: speed reading and singing along with songs. With speed reading, you train your mouth to move faster, to become more familiar with the rhythm and pace of English. It's simple. Pick a short, easy English text, read it aloud while timing yourself, and then try to beat your own time while still staying clear. It's not about rushing. It's about building speed and smoothness naturally. Then, we explored the joy of music. Singing along with English songs helps you learn rhythm, pronunciation, and speed in a fun and emotional way. Start with slow songs and move to faster ones. When you sing, you stay in rhythm, and that rhythm helps you become fluent. Finally, we talked about the mental side of fluency, how to think in English and avoid the trap of translating. We learned that memorizing single words is not enough. It's slow and unnatural. Instead, we should learn language in chunks, phrases and complete sentences that we can use in real conversation. We gave examples like, "I'm going to see some old friends," and how to substitute parts of a sentence to create new ones. This method trains your brain to think in English, not just translate. It allows you to respond quickly and confidently because you're using patterns that you've already practiced many times. When you combine all of these techniques, speaking regularly, embracing pressure, training your mouth through reading and singing, and thinking in phrases, you create a powerful system that leads to real fluency. It's not magic, and it doesn't happen overnight. But if you stay consistent, if you practice with purpose and heart, fluency will come. You'll find that you hesitate less, you speak more clearly, and you start to enjoy conversations instead of fearing them. That is the reward of steady, focused practice. Now, it's time to take action. Don't just watch this video and forget what you've learned. Choose one thing, just one, that you can start doing today. Maybe it's joining a language exchange group, or speed reading a short story out loud. Maybe it's picking your favorite English song and singing along with the lyrics. Maybe it's writing down 5 useful phrases and repeating them until they feel natural. Whatever it is, start now. Start small, but stay consistent. Fluency is not a destination, it's a habit. The more you live with English, the more fluent you become. And if you need help along the way, remember that you are not alone. This channel, Read and Learn English, is here to support you. We create lessons, stories, and practical techniques to make your English journey easier, more enjoyable, and more effective. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe and explore our other videos. You'll find tips on speaking, listening, reading, and more, all designed to help you improve step by step. In the end, fluency is about connection. It's about expressing your thoughts, sharing your ideas, and building relationships with people from around the world. And that is a beautiful goal. You have the ability. You have the tools. All you need now is to keep going. Speak, learn, and grow. One step at a time. Thank you for watching, and keep practicing.